Hi, you are listening to BVM Global at PERUNGUDI's podcast on learning styles. I am Diya Jason, a psychology student of class 11. A learning style is the way that different students learn. A style of learning refers to an individual's preferred way to absorb, process, comprehend, and retain information and make sense of new material. The four key learning styles are visual, auditory, tactile, and kinesthetic. Here I have with me Mahalakshmi, Shreya, Maniratnam, and Soumya, who have taken the learning style questionnaire to understand their preference, and they will provide us with some tips to enhance our learning. Mahalakshmi, what learning style do you prefer, and what tips do you have for those of the same style of learning?
I prefer visual style of learning. Visual learners are excellent at visualizing objects, plans, and outcomes in a spatial sense and enjoy drawing out the answers in different colors to explain their thought process. The majority of students in the generation of technology and change are visual learners because visual learners tend to be holistic learners who process information best when it's presented to them as a whole rather than parts. They tend to see positive educational outcomes when they are presented with summarizing charts and diagrams rather than sequential slides of information. Visual learners can benefit from mind maps, graphs, charts, maps, diagrams, and other visual stimulation to effectively interrupt information.
Thank you for the useful tips, Mahalakshmi. Shreya, what is your preferred way of learning?
I favor auditory learning style. Auditory learning is a style in which a person learns through listening. Characteristics of the auditory learners include good memory, good public speaking abilities, strong listening skills, and strong communication abilities. When trying to remember something, they often repeat it aloud and can mentally hear the way the information was explained to them. These learners learn the concept by repeating the information through verbal discourses and through social elements like group projects or discussions. They would prefer to study with a friend reading out the text aloud to them. They're really good at giving responses to lectures they have just heard and are good at oral exams. Lastly, these learners cannot read in complete silence, and because of which they prefer listening to light music or different background sounds that might help them concentrate. Auditory learners can benefit from mnemonics, rhymes, jingles, and auditory repetition through tape recording to improve memory.
That was informative, Shreya. What style do you prefer, Maniratnam?
I prefer to learn by doing. Kinesthetic learners are hands-on participatory learners who need to take a physically active role in learning process in order to achieve their best education outcomes. They are sometimes referred as tactile learners because of their active nature. Kinesthetic learners often have the most difficult time succeeding in conversation classroom settings. Some educators have found encouraging kinesthetic learners to utilize flashcards for subjects like math and English to make rote memorization into an interactive experience. These students often thrive in scientific subjects with lab components as the skill-based instructional training that occurs in these settings engage them in productive ways. The three most useful tips for such learners could be using hands while studying, combining studying with low-key movements, and lastly, studying in groups.
I hope those tips will definitely help those with kinesthetic learning style, Maniratnam. Soumya, do you think there is any relation between online classes and learning styles?
There has been studies proving how online classes is having an effect on different individuals. Everyone has their own style for collecting and organizing information into useful knowledge, and the online environment can be particularly well suited to some learning styles and personality needs. For example, it has been found introverted students often find it easier to communicate via computer mediated communication than in face to face situations. In addition, the online environment lends itself to a less hierarchical approach to instructions, which means the learning needs of people who do not approach new information in a systematic or linear fashion. Online learning environments are used to their highest potential for collaborative learning when they complement many students' learning style. Independent learners also find online courses to be well suited to their needs. Some students like to take more time to understand new concepts. Instead of racing to learn classroom based lessons and hurrying to take notes within a scheduled time slot, online education provides these students with the opportunity to study and learn at the speed that's right for them. From watching a lecture the second time to reviewing slide presentations, online learning gives students the time they need to understand and achieve more. Some studies indicate that students with the auditory learning preference do not select the online education as their first choice for learning. The combination of different techniques can make it possible for students with all types of learning styles to be successful in an online course. In conclusion, the achievement of online learning can be improved by providing instructions in a manner consistent with each student's learning styles.
Knowing what your learning preferences are will allow you to truly maximize your potential. This can enable you to gain a better understanding of your chosen field of study, receive better exam scores, and finally reach your educational goals. Once you have found a learning style that helps you easily understand information, you will see learning as an enjoyable activity instead of a time consuming task. Knowing your learning style can also increase your confidence and self respect, which can help you achieve your personal and professional objectives without doubting yourself or your abilities. However, it is important to keep in mind that even if a specific student learns best in a certain way, he or she should be opposed to a variety of learning experiences to become a more versatile online learner. Thank you for joining us for this podcast. Have a happy learning experience.